wanna do a podcast? We make a darn good team. It always goes without a hitch. Let's head to Twitch and go start up the stream. Do you wanna do a podcast? It's the Nerd Glasses Podcast. Let's start now. Hi everyone and welcome to the Nerd Glasses Podcast. Come?
Alright, I'll do my own bit for myself.
Oh wait, no silence.
We're doing it.
Get off the road. Hey Dave.
Hey, Boater.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Tekken.
Tekken who?
Nerd Glasses has taken up a big part of our lives these past 3.5 years, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. Oh, look at me bringing back the first joke cold open of Nerd Glasses. Hey everyone, I'm Boater.
I'm Dave Man.
Welcome to the Nerd Glasses Podcast. My final episode here, but we're not going to get all big and mushy about it, whatever. Sure, we're gonna reminisce and all that, but there's still gaming news and stuff there's still stuff that happened, and it's still Pilk Month.
It is still Pilk Month, and for once though, I had milk and not Pepsi, which is a nice change of pace for Pilk Month.
So you were able to have a dairy something or other without having immediate flashbacks and going, oh no.
Yeah.
You were just able to enjoy a glass of milk.
Oh no, milk is forever ruined. I will never.
Oh.
I will never treat dairy the same way as I have. Is this correct, Steve? Is this to pour just a smidge bit?
A little bit more.
A little bit more. So about half and half?
Yeah. Stop!
Or is it like a 45-55 split?
That's good. I will throw this cup anyway.
Okay, 50. Okay, so the Twitch split of 50-50. Have you tried like doing a 70-30 split with Pilk?
Not yet.
People don't.
What about
like
a
that,
95-5?
Oh,
just do a kick Pilk.
I can't talk about the what was on the survey that I took for Twitch, but if Twitch has sent you a survey recently, you should definitely take it and have a look at the thing that they're considering doing in the future, because it's very interesting.
Ooh, we have confirmation of interesting thing, although when asked exactly what it is, Dave Mann could neither confirm nor deny.
Yeah, there was a very, very clear splash page stating that I was not allowed to talk about the specifics of what was done on the survey. So instead, I just read them out loud to my friend in the car. And I go, if you coincidentally hear me reading out loud, that's how I process reading.
BP Stoyle, welcome. Thank you for showing up. Appreciate it. Oh, that's the table going slidey. Let me not disturb the Pilk ingesting.
There's only 3 more days in the month.
Vladdy says, have you tried a 100-0 where the milk is not used? A 100-0 ratio of Pepsi to milk.
This is lovely.
Yeah. So I do not. I was gonna say I do not trust that. I was going to turn to Dave for a question of how is a vanilla Pepsi in milk. That's an answer.
It's not. It is not the worst combination of milk and Pepsi I have had this month. And for those of you who aren't aware, this is a reward that all of you have unlocked by helping support my St. Jude's Play Live campaign. It's Pilk Month for 2 more streams, because by the time it's Sunday, actually, is Friday going to be still in the month of?
Friday is still.
No!
Dave,
right,
you got
so
this.
So there's only 2 more streams
2 more
where I have to do
streams.
this.
God bless you and everyone who donated. Dave needs to try Pilk Light, Double Pilk, and Pilk Supreme. Is Pilk Supreme like a Supreme pizza where you're just putting in peppers and onions and just a buttload of cheese into the concoction?
Yeah, this is sounding more like Vladdy's actually on the Council of Pilk that I do not want to be a part of. And Steve now has messaged me several times in reference to the Council of Pilk.
You may not know it, but you are on the Council of Pilk. You were just not granted the rank of Master.
Oh, I don't want that. I don't want to be on the Council. I'm a Coke person. Is Pepsi all right? No. No, it's
No,
not.
never again.
And it's going to violently be not okay. Steve, did you already put the milk away?
It's right here.
Okay.
He's gonna fix up some more along the way.
Steve.
Okay, let's get things... Well, now that we've done that, let's continue with a Twitch ban. Somewhere around the first year of this, we realized that every week we were coming up with a story of someone getting banned on Twitch for some reason or another. And this week, we've got Caseytron. This is her second ban. The first one of hers was back in 2000. I'm like, oh, that was a while ago. And then I'm like, we were doing Nerd Glasses in 2000. We might have covered it. Anyway, she did the silly thing of... I know I need to specify. She streamed a movie. Total Recall.
What a good movie if you're going to stream one and get a banned for it. What a
The
good
original,
choice.
1990.
Yeah!
And I'm like, there was a remake, right? I think there was a remake, and I had to, like, look it up because I just memory hold it. Yes, there was a remake in 2012. But she watched the 1990, and, of course, copyright takedown.
Yeah.
Channel taken down.
Don't watch this on your stream.
Would go back up shortly, but, like, of course, immediately, because she's a popular female streamer, there were a shithead vocal minority being like, oh, good, well, she's... Blah, 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 and she clapped back at that, and I'm like, you don't need to, but okay, fine, whatever. Making a bigger thing out of it than it is, but just don't stream movies and sports broadcasts and stuff like that. Don't do
If the thing
it.
starts with a warning that you have to have express written consent of name organization here, no, you can't stream it. I don't know how you're not understanding that.
I find there's a difference in taste if you put milk into the Pepsi or Pepsi into the milk. Interesting. We should...
Who said that?
That was Old Gamer 64.
Tom, don't... No! There's no more of my family who's allowed to betray me.
Vladdy can neither confirm nor deny the existence of the Council of Pilk. And when I mentioned not remembering if there was a Total Recall remake, BP Stoyle points out that I do, in fact, not recall if there was a remake. So thank you for that.
Why is my family on the Pilk side? Why have they gone to the Pilk side? Why?
Because that darkness is within you, David.
It really is.
It was in you all along. So is this... What are you doing?
I,
Do it.
not having another Pilk!
So there was Pilk in that. So basically this ends up being that 5:95 ratio.
Yeah, this is
the
the-
kick ratio of what little milk was left over in there. Did I say kill?
Goodness ratio.
The kick ratio.
I really don't like the floating bits on the top of this beverage. I am going to be so sick tomorrow. It's going to be a very interesting stream tomorrow night.
I can't wait. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Have you tried chocolate Pilk? No. I feel like I have, because I made more than one trip to Stewart's to buy milk. Sorry that Pilk is consuming the start of this.
No, that's fine.
For Diablo,
This goes until it's
I had
done.
strawberry Pilk.
Okay, yep.
And then I think there had to have been chocolate during... Oh, it was during a Yuka Watch stream.
I think if you did like that mango Pepsi with chocolate milk, it would basically get close in taste to like a Terry's chocolate orange.
That is somehow worse. I'm not a Pepsi person.
Wonderful. Anyway, that being someone who ran afoul of Twitch in the last 7 days, Dave, do we have games to look forward to?
Absolutely, and there are 3 ones. A remaster, a game you thought should have been out by now, and a game you didn't expect you were going to get. This is, of course, presented in crisp, 24-karat, 17,000 million kajillion to the second power pixels. Nerd Vision! This first game coming out
I'm waiting to
today
confirm that the trailer's brought up.
for the Nintendo Switch, the PlayStation
There we
4
go.
and the PlayStation 5, the Xbox Series X, and the Windows people. It is a remake of Story of Seasons: A Wonderful Life.
That
This
sounds familiar.
game originally being released in 2003 for the PS2 and the GameCube. By the way, in most fashion, if things were released on the GameCube and the PS2, the GameCube version was the functional one, and the PS2 version was the, here you go play outside with this.
The PS2 version was the you can find it everywhere, and the GameCube version was the one people actually wanted. Guess which
Yes.
one you got for Christmas? Sorry, Mom. You did your
Grandma,
best.
Grandma, you tried. You went to Toys R Us. You went to the game section. I appreciate you. This one, being a story of seasons series, did not change the formula up much. You start with a farm. You build the farm up. You do lots of things. This was, however, the first game to have ducks and goats as an addable commodity to your farm. It was also the first in the series to have your child grow to being a full adult, and by the end of whatever storyline you would have with your now fully grown child, they would either then join you as a farmer or disappoint you and go do theater.
I'm leaving for the city. The hell you are.
Truck's dead. I also found out through a little bit of research, because I was very curious, if you can have a kid, if you can not have a kid, and the answer is if you don't pursue the romance lines with your significant other, they do just leave after the first year of your marriage, and then you don't get the kid storyline.
Okay.
That's how you can tell it's a Japanese game, because the kid didn't come first. Bam! Southwest American. The next title is coming out on the 29th. It is coming out for Windows, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, 5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. It's a game that was teased many eons ago, and then some executives and an employee of a company got into a fight in a back room after a press release, and this game got put on hold because they had to figure out all the licensing for it. The game, of course, is
Duke Nukem Forever.
AEW's Fight Forever. It's close. Very close.
Okay.
It is All Elite Wrestling, or AEW's first game officially licensed and all those things, where it's not just their wrestlers appearing on other properties and things like that. The game boasts a very big roster of current and previous wrestlers for AEW and legends in the wrestling industry. It is the first wrestling game from the company Ukes since WWE 2K19, when they were taken off of the projects going forward. And then it was really weird. The WWE games were really bad after that. It's almost like there was a reason for that.
It's almost like we've got really good reason to look forward to this one then.
Yes. This game also advertises an interesting feature if you're a fan of wrestling games, which is online co-op for tag matches, which previously was not available in many titles. You would have to be either in person or playing online with some randos. Customizations, you can create titles, you can create wrestlers, you can create arenas, you can create whatever you'd like, and you can then put theme music over it and have them dance down to the ring. The matches advertised feature such staples of an AEW or any wrestling show: singles matches, tag matches, ladder matches, and of course, everyone's favorite, exploding barbed wire death matches.
Classic.
Classics. If you've ever watched Terry Funk's career, you know good and well how those matches end. This one looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. It is not currently in my budget, but it is in my purview to get, and there is future content for wrestlers that were not on the roster when this game was finalized going to be added in the future in packs and things like that. They're also advertising mini games. I don't know what those look like. They didn't really talk about them all that much, but it looks like it's going to be a game for the hardcore wrestling fan and someone who's just interested in a beat 'em up. The last game is a game that really no one saw coming because they just announced it earlier this month. It is coming out exclusively for the Nintendo Switch. It is Everybody 1-2 Switch.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah.
It is the sequel to 2017's 1-2 Switch. It is hosted by MC Horus, a man in a horse mask.
Okay.
And this game uses a lot of team-based minigames. So much so
Gotcha.
that you can play with 8 Joy-Cons attached to one system or 100 smartphones. Either or, have it your way and choose to play however you'd like to. I I will say, looking at a lot of the mini games, it seems like a lot of mini games out of Mario Party. But instead of just screaming at your television and getting mad because you didn't get enough coins, you now get to do it yourself and throw yourself on the floor and get mad when you didn't get enough wins.
I want to know how the smartphone thing works.
Apparently, the smartphone integration works pretty well.
Is it kind of like Jackbox idea where like you connect to a web portal and play it through that?
The articles I saw about it were not clear, but it almost has to be.
Because I'm not fitting 100 people in my living room. I don't have 100 friends I'd want to invite into my living room, especially with how tight we'd have to pack everybody. So I would hope that would work well for like streaming, where someone's streaming and you've got that kind of Jackbox style. But I guess we'll have to find out.
I literally cannot wait for everyone to remember that streams are on a delay, and if you try to answer questions only with the stream and not look at your device, you don't get to participate. But that is the games coming out in the next 7 days. By the way, everybody 1-2 Switch is coming out at the brisk retail price of $39.99, so it is not a real game. So, Boater, what have you been up to? What have you been watching? What have you been playing?
Over the weekend, I saw Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Oh!
It has been a while since I've been to the movie theater. Demon Dragon could tell you it's almost a chore to drag me to go see something.
And
like
you
Guardians
fell
3
off the wagon and supported a murderer. I'm so sorry.
Yep. Well, I mean, so you're thinking of Peter Parker Spider-Man. This one is not Spider is Murder Spider-Man.
Oh,
this
no.
is others in the
Yes,
Spider-Verse.
I've been told apparently there is a whole multiverse of murderous spider people that all have their own times and places, and just thinking about it wants to give me a brain maneurism.
Well, in that case, go ahead and enjoy your slightly contaminated Pepsi while I say just really quick that yes, I enjoyed it. It was really well done. I saw someone say that joins the rare group where the second movie is better than the first. For me, they don't do a good job of advertising it as such, but it is actually the first part of a 2-part movie. There's a cliffhanger, and then, hey, there's one more on the way. We're like, okay, fine. As long as you don't pull what Disney Plus did to Willow, we're fine. We're going to see the third movie, right? Good. And for me, it was one of the rare ones where, like, sometimes when there's a trilogy that's, like, a standalone and then a duology, that middle one ends up being kind of weak until the last one comes out. This was not the case here. I loved this one the whole way through. It didn't feel like the first act or two without any payoff. It had payoff. It did really well. So, that was me. Aside from that, I'm playing the same games. I'm reading the same books. So, but Spider-Verse, and we watched a little bit more Vox Machina, but didn't quite finish season 2 yet. So, slowly working our way through it.
Nice.
And you?
Not doing as much gaming as I would like. Sunday we got a little further into Tears of the Kingdom, and boy, is that getting interesting. In fact, the more 3-hour snippets of it I play, the more I think, where are they going with this? And how is this going to resolve? And they just keep handing me more questions to answer at the end of it. And I'm really appreciative that it's a Nintendo title, because I will get answers at some point, maybe possibly in the third game. I also am going to talk about it in this way. I was watching an interview segment, and it was the dude who went back to Smosh and took over Smosh again.
Yes.
Anthony something.
Yes.
Who I never really had seen, but algorithmically they started advertising him because he's in the news. And he was talking to a female that I had never seen before, and I realized she was talking about streaming stuff and how people. Anthony literally goes, so people like to watch you sleep more than when you're awake. And the person said, yeah, when I'm just about to wake up, the viewership is really high, and then when I'm actually awake, it kind of tapers down a little bit. And I realized that's the first time I've ever seen Amaranth, literally in my lifetime, ever. And
Wow.
it was interesting, an interesting concept. she explained that she thinks people, for some reason, are going to think she's forgotten that she's live on stream and start taking off clothes or doing something inappropriate. And so, shine on, you crazy diamonds, and hope that something happens. I don't know what it is you're thinking is going to go on, but
in the meantime, you're helping her numbers and helping her succeed. Good.
I got asked a question this week that I'm going to be answering tomorrow during the stand-up show about Bro Dave and Kick. And I have a pretty good answer for that, but I got that question from 3 different people, which was very interesting.
Cool.
And then played like only an hour of Diablo, which makes me really sad because Donan is life and Donan is love and Lilith gotta die.
You're worried. Progress is progress. Does not matter whether it's 10 hours or 1.
It's infuriating that this is another one of those games where humanity is just so behind on the thing. I talked about it Wednesday, but I really don't like that every town we went to, we were like, "Oh, have you seen this demon?" And like the town guard who if people sneeze too loudly in public, they're throwing them in the brig. They were like, "Oh, you mean that 8-foot horned woman who marched through here earlier? We didn't think too much of her, blah, 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 blah." And it's like, damn it, could we just 4 seconds of consistency?
Can I just have a town that has its shit together? Little basic competency, mortals, please.
So yeah, it was, it's definitely not hair-pullingly frustrating. And I don't want to spoil anything for folks that are watching out there. God, why? We're so behind Lilith's plans, and it makes me so angry. Because if even one person went, "Wait, look," like one out of all of these chapters.
Brunerd saying that Bro Dave totally has a kick, and it's, we can speculate, but I guess we'll find out for sure tomorrow. But the nice thing is, apparently, all this discussion means that I do not need to keep explaining kick. So, we'll take that. Bro Dave does the explaining kick to you now.
Unfortunately, when people of the caliber of certain other streamers get added to the hallowed, trash-filled halls of kick, you take notice and make sure you don't go there. But
I have a little bit about that, but that can be for later.
Genuinely haven't even bothered to go on Kick. I won't lie. I
Yeah.
don't know what their UI looks like. I'm not supporting them by giving them clicks, and I'm not looking at it. But yeah, that's what I've been watching. That's what I've been up to, and that's all of this going on.
Well, so we don't have to double back to it really quick. We mentioned Kick, whatever. Pokimane actually came out this past week and was like, yeah, no, Kick wouldn't be for me. Like, knowing who's behind it and all that, it would like compromise my morals and ethics. Something about it is so cringe to me personally. For me to do cringe shit when I have money, I can't. Like, ew. And of course, she's like, if smaller streamers go there and they find success, good for them. But like for more successful, it's just not for me. And of course, XQC immediately has to be like, oh well, flexing your morals and ethics on other people comes from pure insecurity, nothing else. Like, she intentionally said that if you go there and you find success, whatever, it's on you. Like, she said she wasn't speaking for anyone else. She was speaking for herself. So for you to speak up says something about insecurity there.
God.
Good gambling, sir.
I hate that man so much.
I know. But guess what? I'm done with that half of the paper now.
Not even a good streamer!
I just, this, gone. We're done with that.
Ugh. Future projects and things to keep an eye on. The tickets are bought, the production trucks are already loaded, and the Minecraft movie adaptation is going to start shooting on August 7th in New Zealand.
Huh.
Are we going to get a Hobbit adaptation of the Minecraft movie? Yes! You heard it here first. But seriously.
It's not going to be Lord of the Rings, but it's gonna wink and nod and give you that vibe. I don't know. We can hope.
A project that does have Jason Momoa and Matt Berry assigned to it. I know. They haven't explained what characters they are, but I won't lie. When I saw Jason Momoa, I was like, okay, so they probably offered him a lot of money and something funny for him to do. And then when I saw Matt Berry, I was like, oh my god, there has to be something funny in this for him to be like, I won't get out of bed for less than. Oh no, never mind.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the question is, how much can we expect out of it? And speculating this early is just speculation. There's nothing to it. And so we can be like, are we going to get something like Lego Movie? How do you make a full feature-length film out of Lego? And they did amazing. So maybe they'll do that with the Lego of video games. Who knows? I, for one, am interested to see a trailer, and then we'll see how much my interest holds from there.
I just can't wait to hear. I want to hear how Peter Jackson greets all of them when they get to New Zealand. I really do. I like
I like that your assumption is that Peter Jackson personally greets at least every film crew that comes off a plane, if not every single person individually.
I mean, he's practically a citizen there after all the time he spent there filming things. So I'm willing to bet they, just like Godzilla, he's like their official like mascot, and he's just like, "Good day, welcome to New Zealand. Please take off your shoeies."
I
Steve,
wish I could
water?
do. I wish I could do
Please.
like a New Zealand accent. I find it fascinating. The vowels have so many letters. Have you heard someone from New Zealand say the word no?
No.
It takes a second and a half.
Nor.
It's close, yeah.
There's a singer? Yeah, singer-songwriter who I follow on TikTok called Peach PRC.
Okay.
She's in a lot of things. She had a whole video about, she's like, I love chewing in my vowels.
I think I was looking at something when I was into doing perler beads and crafting and stuff like that. I was looking for like what the proper, super glue, hot glue. Like I wanted to compare different things to use, and I found like a video from this one New Zealand creator who was comparing, like hot glue, super glue, E6000, and I think one other craft glue, and it was just very like, okay, this is informative, but also what is happening to my ears. Like, to be fair, I'm aware of the accent that I have and how I just ignore consonants when it pleases me. I'm aware. I do not mean to make fun. It is just a particular accent that is so different from mine that it is interesting to listen to. I have British friends make fun of mine. It's fine.
Well, pointing out that accents are different and things like that, and especially when they are like linguistically based in so many different sounds and things like that, it is interesting, and it does make when people say Maccers instead of McDonald's more fun.
Did you know that Sean Bean was afraid of helicopters, so ended up mountain climbing through New Zealand to get to the sets?
Steve, can you unpin that? I tried to reply to Alec, and it just. This computer is on a struggle bus.
This ThinkPad predates.
You know what? That's actually. You know what?
Let's
leave fun Sean Bean facts pinned up there.
Help! I'm trapped up here. No, you stay now.
Especially Boromir, the only person who learns anything in the LOTR franchise.
The only person who goes through a character arc. The most pronounced. Anyway. Before we get in here with our spicy Lord of the Rings takes, speaking of spicy...
I don't have a helicopter to get down, help.
All right. Do you have a parachute? Why? No reason.
Love, Alec, you can sell your Twitch to Tencent. You can golden parachute yourself out of there.
Okay. I've got one more news story that I brought, and then I know that you brought a bunch. So
yeah.
do you wanna take one now, and I'll come back to this one?
So the executive producer on The Witcher was interviewed more recently about the next season, future for the programs, things like that. And they teased the transition from Henry Cavill to Liam Hemsworth as Geralt is, in his words, flawless. And apparently, there's a meta explanation in the OG source material for what's going to happen in season 3 that's going to happen to then lead to future seasons. And if any of this is even an iota true, it'll be very interesting and it'll make for a very good watch. And if it's bad, you too can also cancel your Netflix subscriptions.
Canceling streaming subscriptions has kind of been a thing lately, considering how they've been treating everything. Paramount Plus ditching half of its Star Trek library when they were supposed to be the only place to go to watch Star Trek. I'm sure I don't have to talk to this one about that. Witcher has a multiverse just like everything else. Sure, why not? I mean, it's interesting.
I mean, it does!
If they've got like an explanation from the source books that they can use to kind of seamlessly transition from one appearance to another, and especially like, I mean, it's a little easier now to bring Henry Cavill back on for like half an episode to do that transition.
You know what, though?
It's not like he's busy doing Superman right now.
It'll be really lame if they just steal the Doctor Who gimmick where, like, Geralt just lights up and just transforms into Liam Hemsworth. And then he's like, oh, this is my new body now. And it's
Guess
like,
what?
damn
We've
it.
got 13 Geralts ahead of us now. Oh.
I will only accept this if like Geralt's standing there scowling about something and just gets hits with the TARDIS, and then he throws the TARDIS off him and it's Liam Hemsworth and he just goes ah! Then I will accept it. Then it's totally fine. Still not a ginger. Yes.
Let's see. So last week, Bungie released a Destiny cutscene with a ton of huge lore implications. And also implications for a particular fan artist, because this big old cutscene, this big thing that has the Destiny community like really talking, has fan art in it.
Okay.
And the artist was like very like, oh, this is so cool that my stuff is featured, and you know he took it very like, oh well, this is kind of honoring whatever.
Yeah.
But it was still became a thing of like, this guy's fan art is almost like not like direct copy paste, but very very heavily inspired a shot in the cutscene. So PC Gamer went to Bungie and were like, what do you know about this? What's going on here? And Bungie said, we discovered that an external vendor that helped to create this cutscene mistakenly used this art as a reference, assuming it was official Bungie artwork. Doesn't 100% pass the sniff test, but like I could see that happening. Like external vendors are used a lot for this kind of thing. I could totally see that happening. You Google for like Destiny official artwork, and it comes up anyway. You just go, all right, fine. You know, they're the outside vendors, subcontractors are making bottom dollar. They don't care.
Just have a Google Drive of official images that they just let the company have, or
there probably is, but then like it's probably far from comprehensive. Like all like, you know, if you're looking for like concept art that maybe like you want to get some old concept art that you could then use, and then oops, I came up with a fan concept instead. Bungie did say that they were trying to get in touch with the artist so that they could, quote, compensate and credit him for his work. So I think Bungie's been doing a really good job of handling PR this last year or so, just in a lot of different issues. And that's just one more thing of like, whether they got caught with their hand in the cookie jar, or is probably more likely that their subcontractor got caught with their hand in the cookie jar. Instead of them being like, oh, well, it sucks, they're like, oh, well, I guess we got to do the right thing, and they do it.
It's more recently than not, what is up with companies not following the simple principle of, if you're going to copy my homework, just change it so both of us don't get in trouble? How were companies so bad at that? And whereas like in the 90s, early 2000s, when Photoshop wasn't even good or in existence, why all of a sudden has the ball been dropped so bad?
Because anyone can put fan art up on DeviantArt or whatever. Whereas in the 90s, your fan art stayed in your notebook, you know, on the other side of your math homework.
It's true.
A lot more people can share their art into the world, meaning a lot more people can see and pull from that art. So, but no, good on Bungie for turning around and being like, oh yeah, we're gonna do what we can. We're gonna do right by this artist. So, good. The artist is probably Julian Failona. And yeah, it's a cool piece of art. I don't really follow Destiny, so I don't know like the bigger meta story implications of it, whatever. But it's a very specific one and was used. But good on Bungie, and awesome Julian for getting your stuff in there. No matter how it happened. I'm cool that he's kind of taking it for like the yay,
If it's fan art for the intention of like this is a whatever moment it was, things like that, man, that would be for me like if we got used in something like that'd be really cool. Please credit us, but like
Yeah, exactly. It's I'm super honored. Could I at least get like some credit? Welcome, more like rigor mortis. You made it. BP Story. In the 90s, we were younger and didn't have the artistic taste to judge fan art the way we would now. So that's part of it too. But like, yeah, there's a lot more professional tools out there so that a lot more people can make stuff that looks like Bungie caliber level of concept art or official art, whatever, and making it look like that, as opposed to, again, the 90s with like early Photoshop and the back of your history textbook.
Yeah.
Notebook, hopefully, not the textbook. If you did the textbook, whatever, I'm not going to judge you. Those things were 20 years old.
That you didn't get caught.
Yeah. Then it's easier nowadays to get that high quality stuff out there, but then for people to also see it and use it.
So this week, we didn't put a poll for snacks because I was challenged by a friend of the program, Dreve Plays, to try something. They are cheddar penguins. Apparently, they are supposedly better than current day goldfish.
Huh.
And we are going to be the judge of that.
I have not had goldfish in a long time. I vaguely would have a memory of how they taste. So I won't be able to do a direct comparison, but I will still definitely thumbs up, thumbs down on this.
I work with kids. I've eaten goldfish off the floor. It's not a joke about being underpaid as an educator. It's a joke about the fact that my kids find me hilarious, and I will do anything for a laugh. Would any of our live studio audience like some cheddar penguins?
One. Steve?
Cheddar penguins for you.
That's for Steve.
Bumble Librarian, would you like some cheddar penguins?
Yes? Okay.
And
The orca shirt is topical for eating penguins. It is indeed. But also pay educators more. Yeah, I will take a cup of penguin so I may nosh on them through the show.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, sir. They're so cute. Look at them.
You know what? Since I made everyone else a cup and I bought a sleeve of cups, I'll use one for me too.
Well, what kind of sound do penguins make? I mean, I've heard a few, but there's no way I could vocally try to imitate one.
They make the same sound who people whose coupons get denied at the cash register make. It's really uncanny.
What? Ah! Oh, yeah, that's it.
Ah! What do you mean this coupon from the 90s from Caldors isn't good here?
Think. Ooh. There's a Kayla penguin. I like it. Tasty. How do they compare to the snack that smiles back?
I do think these are as good, if not better, than current day ones.
There we go. I like you specifying current day.
They changed, they changed the formula.
Did they?
From when we were kids to now that we're jaded adults and tricks aren't the fun shapes that they were anymore. Kids don't know anymore these days.
Penguins sound angrier than they look, and that's impressive. I was seeing something a couple of weeks ago of animals that their sound doesn't match their face at all. I forget the example of, here's a really cute animal, or like a koala, I think. It's like really adorable, but when it opens its mouth, it sounds like the devil's own belch.
Interesting.
Meanwhile, a cheetah chirps like a bird. Okay. Shall we discuss our dear friends at the Federal Trade Commission?
Oh, yes, because they've certainly stepped in it.
So, in the context of the ongoing debates over the Activision Blizzard King buyout slash merger with Microsoft buying or merger, blah blah blah, Activision Blizzard with Microsoft. Most every regulatory agency has at this point said, yeah, it's fine, go ahead. The UK regulatory agency said no because cloud gaming, and I don't know if there's been an update on that. I don't know if they've changed that around at all. I know that there's been appeals, whatever. And the FTC, I believe, also wants to block it, but there are currently hearings going on. So
Yes. They filed an injunction to prevent the merger from occurring.
okay,
And now it's in front of a judge. And I actually, for all of you people, happen to have a clip of what the judge is hearing in front of them. Hang on, let me pull this up because it's deep secrets. We shouldn't have a recording device in the courtroom, but
this is going to be a bit, and I'm going to love it.
we really, it's important for you guys to get full context of exactly what the Federal Trade Commission is saying in front of the judge, and so you hear their exact words and the great case that they've put together to block the Activision Blizzard merger, and it is.
I haven't thought about wild thornberries in a decade and a half. Actually, except at lunch today, we were trying to guess 90s cartoon themes by just listening to the themes. But before that, oh my gosh.
So they've been doing that in front of a judge pretty much this entire time.
The judge has not been amused.
No, not even an iota. And I enjoyed that. Our good friend Sustaina has been posting and doing all the Twitter digging so that I don't have to do literally any of it.
Basically, our correspondent for this issue at this point. Sustaina's been doing an awesome job gathering stuff.
And I enjoy one of the snippets that really I'm surprised didn't just get thrown out from the moment. The judge asked Phil Spencer when he was on the stand and sworn in and all those things, so, kind of pinned against the wall.
Phil Spencer, CEO of Xbox or Microsoft in general?
Microsoft.
Okay.
If Sony and Nintendo both had exclusive games. Phil Spencer responded in the affirmative and stated that they do indeed have significantly more exclusive than Xbox. The whole Federal Trade Commission argument was based around the idea of exclusivity. Mm-hmm. If we lose this, if we lose that, if we lose this, where the whole thing's going out, this and that and the other. And from that moment on, this whole thing has now just been a kangaroo court and a gigantic waste of a judge's time. And I really can't wait to hear what the judges in close when they inevitably do bang the gavel and decree on this. This, of course, for those of you keeping tabs and things, this is not the actual do they get to or do they not get to merge.
Right.
This is literally just the FTC saying we don't want this to happen and hang on because we have stuff that's going to certainly blow this whole thing wide open. And much like that episode of Always Sunny in Philadelphia where everybody was trying to get in the McPoyle case, this is kind of what's been happening, where everybody thinks that they have the bomb that's going to blow this whole thing open.
I saw something today, it was probably a couple days ago, where the FTC was like, oh, well, we have these emails from Microsoft showing how they plan to outspend Sony. I'm like, every corporation wants to outspend their competition. That's kind of how it works.
Yep. Oh, I'm sure.
It's them saying, if we don't buy these, then Sony and Tencent will. And what has Sony been doing? Also buying a bunch of stuff. What has Tencent been doing? Hold on. Also buying a bunch of stuff.
I'm really upset thinking that Tencent wouldn't get stopped if they tried to. But because it's Microsoft, an American-based company, they're literally like, let's make this as difficult as possible.
Sony's been doing a pretty good job with their PR campaign, both to the masses, whatever, but also to the applicable regulators of like, this would be so bad for the industry as a whole. It's like, no, it would be less than ideal for Sony, but it's not going to be the death knell for the industry as a whole. And when it comes down to hearings like this, where there are expert witnesses and blah, 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 then the judge is like, FTC, you have asked 17 times about exclusive this, exclusive that. It has already been answered. Do you have anything else to say? No? Shut up, sit down. Let the adults talk. There was some sort of quote from the judge that wasn't that word for word, but was basically just shutting down the FTC line of questioning because it was repetitive and basically immature.
They're really, the goal for them is to get someone who represents Microsoft or Activision Blizzard King under oath to say, we will put Call of Duty on Sony consoles forever. Although it's not worth anything, it's not going to help you in the long run.
Yeah, so, and like I heard some discussion where when ZeniMax was bought by Microsoft a few years ago, and like Redfall was originally going to come out on PlayStation, but ended up being Xbox only. Like originally it was going to be multi-platform, and now it's an Xbox exclusives. And that's something that, it's like, oh, well, we were told by Microsoft that it would have to, change whatever. But then I also saw something this week that was like, yeah, not having to develop for PlayStation as well actually let us develop faster, so it's come out sooner than it would have otherwise, only developing for one console.
Also, Redfall. No thanks.
You
can keep it over there.
I've heard kind of mixed things on Redfall after all this time. Yeah. But we'll see. We'll see.
Let's see, from all the wonderful things. Oh, we are looking forward to our good friend Bobo is going to take the stand tomorrow.
Right. Why does all the interesting stuff happen on Wednesdays?
Unfortunately, they have already entirely blown that load all over the judge's head. And the judge is certainly not totally over this and waiting for everybody to get their little pieces. Let's see. Some of the other things that Sustain has posted.
A lot of things look good in the trailer, Brew Nerd, but I guess we'll have to see when it actually comes out and what the general consensus is on Redfall.
All right. Oh, God. The Federal Trade Commission lawyer asked, Mr. Spencer, are you aware of the term console wars? So it's responded, we're gamers. We made it.
Yeah. There was some, maybe overstating whatever, but basically him saying that we've never been winning the console wars. And me personally, I think you can make the argument that Microsoft did at the beginning of the Xbox 360's life cycle, most of the way through that because of huge missteps by Sony. But since then, Sony has been, as far as console wars are going, Sony has been ahead of Microsoft, and Nintendo's been playing its own game and doing amazing at it.
Do you want to know what really kneecapped Microsoft and really hobbled them after the 360 and why the Xbox One kind of fell to shit?
Because the Xbox One didn't focus gaming when it was being announced. It was like, look at all the stuff you can do with your TV. I'm like, yeah, and I can do that with my TV.
You know why they had to do that? Because you notice it really seemed like they were using the same footage. Remember early on in the Xbox One development when they said, your Kinect is always listening, and everyone immediately went, you're monitoring us! And like everybody had a collective shit pants moment.
Yeah, like...
And Microsoft had to take the most successful product in Microsoft's history and not only bury it, but like shoot it, drive it out to the Glens, bury it, and then pretend it never existed.
After everything that, like, how successful the Wii was, Kinect was such a good chance for Microsoft to get in on that kind of action.
Yeah.
But because of how they tried to use it, they were like, using Kinect for 360 was like kind of an aftermarket accessory. It was, only used by a few games. In order to do this, we need to involve this in the console from the get-go. Like, there is a separate port on the back of launch era 360s for the Kinect. Like, not just USB, whatever. There's a separate Kinect port.
Yep.
And that it was meant to be in there from the ground up, but because of number one, poor messaging, and number two, overblown but still probably reasonable privacy concerns, certainly more reasonable now in retrospect, and we look at privacy concerns and how our phones do actually listen to us and everything like that.
The phone, yes. Your Xbox One, no, but...
maybe not at launch, but as they figured out ways to do it and the way it would... Looking back on it now, I do believe that just at least for an advertising profile, that yes, it probably would have.
Oh, in advertising, yeah, but like people were worried that they
Oh
were,
no,
like,
it's not
recording...
going to be like recording conversations between you and Meemaw, whatever.
Yeah,
no,
that's the reason they had to kill it, by the way, because everybody was concerned that the Xbox was working for the commies and was going to tell everybody.
Yeah, and now everyone has an Alexa. Thank you, Love Alec. That's exactly what it is. Kinect could have beaten Google Home and Alexa to the market, but people weren't ready for it.
Also, did you play Pokemon Go? We know you did, so you really don't have that much of an issue about your data being given to other people, do ya? But that's part of the reason that Microsoft had such an issue, because...
looping back to our conversation.
The Xbox One, the Xbox, and the PlayStation, by God, working in video game retail, when people ask the question, they love to ask this one, which one's better? PlayStation 5 or Series X? And I get to lean over and go, they're both bad PCs at this point. Look up what games you want to play on it, and look at what your friends or your kids' friends are going to be buying, and get that one.
Yeah.
Or just make yourself happy and get a Switch. Because guess what? Those games are great, and they're usually meant to be played for like 45 minutes, and then you put them down, and you go do something else.
The thing is, right now, like, Microsoft doesn't have a ton of exclusives. Sony does have more. And so
Nintendo does as well.
Oh yeah. Well, and so like you can talk about for as far as the merger standpoint, whatever. Fine if Xbox is exclusives because they don't have too many. However you want to approach that. But like going back 10, 15 years when people ask, "Oh, was it better?" whatever. I remember there was a few years when I was working in game stores where the answer was like, "Are you into first-person shooters?" And,
yes.
You should probably get an Xbox 360 because that's where most of the player base is for that. Are you into RPGs and spectacle fighters? You should get a PlayStation because there's more of those on there. There was a really heavy divide. And so now, like, it's... If you want to play, like, big single-player RPGs and action games... Sony's kind of where it's at with, God of War, Horizon, and such like that, in addition to the multi-platform stuff. Meanwhile, for Xbox, if you want to play... Forza comes out this year? Yeah, like, if you want to play the new Forza Motorsport, or if you want to play Halo Infinite...
hey, Forza's going to have Barbie DLC, so there.
Came out.
Huh?
Came out a couple days ago.
Forza has Barbie content now, so run to your stores.
Like, there's probably racing games on Xbox are better, but otherwise, like, Redfall coming out for just Series X is a big thing, but like, Xbox could use honestly some of those, or you could just say. Like, now it's not necessarily the games coming out for it. It's if you're looking at these games, there's this. If you're looking at cloud gaming and, not worried about how strong the console is, but just if you have a strong internet connection, cloud gaming, it's Microsoft.
Who are you people? We've talked about you so much more in the last 2 months than we have ever, and I want to know who the cloud gamers are. I want to meet you. I want to learn what you eat. I want to learn how you tick and where you live, because you definitely don't have Spectrum internet. You don't.
And
you
like,
can't.
if you like the idea of like a streaming service where I don't have to own my games, I can just use what's on that. Boom, Xbox Game Pass.
The best value Game Pass out there currently is Xbox Game Pass. Like,
Xbox's advantage isn't its hardware. It isn't the exclusives that it has. It is Game Pass, but that doesn't convert people from PlayStation. When people walk into a store and they're looking for one thing or another, sorry, I'm trying to keep visible with you. I know that chair keeps spinning. Like when when someone comes in and they want to compare one console to another, they're looking at the games that are on it, and I don't necessarily know for you personally. You certainly have more experience talking to customers. I don't know how trying to talk up Game Pass works or not. So
super easy. By the way, I notice you're buying an $80 game. Do you know you can get this $80 game and also a million other titles for the same $80? Here's an advertisement for Game Pass. And then Dan hits me over the back of the head because I lost a sale. But that's neither here nor there.
Let's see here. Going back a bit, I always loved when the commercials would come on during a show on Hulu that shut off my TV. The commercial was like, "Look what Kinect can do. Xbox, turn off my TV," and then my TV goes off.
Didn't a Super Bowl commercial recently do that with Alexa or something? Where it was like, "Alexa, do blank," and people over the world collectively shat their pants because they realized that if a certain key phrase is said out loud, suddenly their whole house is under control of a television.
Yeah, it's, "Hey Google, buy whatever from Amazon," or whatever.
Do you think?
Hey Google, at home. Hey Google, play "Never Gonna Give You Up."
Do you think that there is either be it Google or Apple or whatever service it is that uses this, an equivalent of Order 66? That if your electronics are hooked to whatever listens for the order, whatever order it is, if you say it, all the electronics in your house simultaneously start revolting?
Siri, beep, execute Order 66.
We have ordered 10,000 red flags. No, I don't want those. Cancel order. No.
I believe Xbox One also required an internet connection to use. They said it was going to at the start, obviously after the backlash.
Oh!
And
all Xbox One games out when you purchase them will not be
transferable.
And it was literally like, why do you have to hand Sony the ability to literally cancel the entire presentation? And they had two executives instead just hand each other a box.
Yes,
from one to the other.
Here is how Sony won the console war for that generation. Here is how you can lend a game to a friend. Here you go.
Thanks. Can't wait to you.
Did it with the Spider-Man.
Touched it with my hands.
Gotcha.
I'm so sorry.
That is how Sony won the console war that generation. Microsoft botched it at the start. And me being an Xbox fan, I think they did a good job of recovering and coming back, whatever. But they never caught up.
The Xbox itself was not a bad console.
They got back to parity.
They just literally misrepresented the entire product from the start. So you saw it on the shelf, and all you could think of was again, and here's how you share games. Share games. The Kinect is always watching you. Fucking your cousins. What were people so upset about that, by the way? What are you doing in front of your television? Don't answer that question. Never mind.
Don't ask. And then, this generation, both Xbox did better because it was easier to get an Xbox than a PlayStation at the start because they both launched during COVID. So that helped Xbox get a leg up, but now that they're pretty available.
And it seems like Xbox, when the PlayStation 4 was winning, spent the time focusing on future projects instead of continuing to try to shovel coal in the fire and see if they could stoke it any bigger.
Also
they certainly made more games and things like that, but boy, the Series X was infinitely more alluring. The 5 literally came out and they're like, you can play your PS4 games on it, which as a Sony fan was a big thing. Mm-hmm. My first game I ever played on my new PS5 was my PS4 Godzilla game, and it did load faster, and they were right, and it was wonderful.
Hold on.
But did not sell me on the product originally.
Travis Mooncloud just sent me a clip, and I think I activated Siri on him. Hold on.
That'll be...
I successfully rickrolled him.
Firstly, thank you so much for joining us here on Insane Games TV. And secondly, this is what happens here.
I am a menace. This is why I'm out after this. I am causing as much chaos as I can.
So to bring to the Federal Trade Commission and this conglomerate. By the way, one more note. I can't help but notice that they're talking about the console wars, and we're hearing a lot of information about Microsoft, a lot of information about Sony. They didn't invite Nintendo to the pissing contest. Or Nintendo executives looked and they went, "Ha! No thanks." Like,
I mean, Nintendo, as far as console wars, whatever, Nintendo's been doing its own thing ever since the Wii.
oh yeah.
Like, GameCube sure had a different form factor and ethos, whatever, than PlayStation 2 and Xbox did, but it's still, still a home console, everything like that. The Wii did things differently. The Wii U maybe tried to recapture some of that, but the Wii U would... and so the Switch is doing things so differently by being like, hi, yeah, we'll be your home console and also your on-the-go console, and they're playing their game by their own paradigm. So console war, as far as apples to apples, really is Sony to Microsoft.
Oh yeah. If you feel bad that you're missing more of these things and you haven't been getting information, things like that, don't feel bad. Past Steve has managed to get me tomorrow's testimonies, if you don't mind. And here's the things they're going to be doing tomorrow when good old Bobo takes the stand. That's just for us watchers here on the Nerd Glasses podcast. From Past Steve getting us future information, but I cannot wait to hear the questions that they ask Bobo. I can't. It's gonna be so beautiful.
And I'm wondering, so like the answers are either going to end up being a calculated, nothing earth-shattering, or he's gonna go unhinged again, and everyone's gonna go like, "What are you doing?" Like Mickey Lawyer at Goofy being like, "What are you doing?"
You know what? One of our viewers,
Murder?
Steve, could you
Yuck.
could you get this ready for us? One of our viewers doesn't know who Bobo is. Bobo, could you roll your ass in here to meet the audience for a minute?
Once the clip passes.
Where is it? It's not there.
Oh, the clip is not there.
Wow, Steve! Wow! Wow, Steve! Poor Bobo.
All right.
Don't pour Bobo.
Poor Bobo.
Don't pour
He's
Bobo.
not meeting the people watching Nerd Glasses podcast. Bobo is, of course, in reference to personal friend of the program, Bobby Kotick. Amp Slayer redeeming for 1,000 channel points. We know whose fault it is, and it's...
Steve!
Man, I got this.
I don't like when he says that. It's
I
usually
got
not
this.
good.
I got this.
I got
No,
this.
so I think that was the tone of voice that says that he does on the level. Got this. That wasn't the. Hold on, I got this. That's the one you got to worry about.
It's true.
Yeah. All right. Oh, I know. Hold on.
Are they
Okay.
are they meeting Bobo yet?
We go here. Oh no, it's the muskrat.
This is for a 5-second clip. I love it.
Okay, there he is.
We do it for the bit.
There he is.
Really?
No, that's.
I'm not pulling up the clip. I'm not pulling.
No, it's fine.
Fine, the moment
I'm
passed.
not-
I didn't take my headset off in time.
That is a very flattering picture of Bobo in green there. I liked it.
Yeah,
it was really
That
good.
wasn't bad.
Really nice picture. He should wear green more often.
I like it. We're just staying on the OBS screen now.
This
It's
is-
Nice. Look at that
This
tile
is where
back
we
there.
live now.
Oh, I got self-conscious and went away.
I can bring it back for the rest of the stream if you want.
just finish this stream on the infinity tunnel. Oh, heavens.
I look forward to hearing Bobo's testimonies. I look forward to seeing if the FTC once again asks questions that they asked of every other person, and if the judge cuts them off, just as they did when they were talking to Phil Spencer. I have a feeling that they will.
That judge is low on patience by this point with the shenanigans.
If we get our way, though, there is like a 0.0001% chance that they slide any line of questioning in that talks about the unions in Activision Blizzard King. And I really hope Bobo on the stand has to answer those, or at least very uncomfortably go, I'm not talking about this.
Yeah. I guess we're gonna have to settle for that most flattering picture of the Activision Blizzard King CEO up there. Who?
I mean, that's not a bad picture of Bobo. He should use that on his dating profiles.
Anyway, Dave, I think, is that the show? Do we have more?
If you wanna,
do we have did we not get to something that you wanted to hit? So that's done. I'm good on my end. What have you got?
I've got stuff I can talk about in the future.
Okay.
I've got some stories I'm definitely going to post. Prince of Persia: The Last Crown, information coming about that. Starfield pre-order confusion. My good friends over at Remedy Games talking about the building of Alan Wake 2 and how 2 games were built out of ideas for Alan Wake 2 that then became Control and Quantum Break.
Nice.
Diablo 4 has now had 2 major DDoS attacks.
Oof. Yeah.
And they've actually, this year, done infinitely better than when they happened, like when the Overwatch League was live or things like that. So a small kudos to the team over at Diablo. Please continue to fix it.
There's been hiccups, but like they've done amazingly compared to like the Overwatch 2 launch, the Blizzard 3 launch. There were memes for months about the Blizzard 3 launch. And so yeah, there's been hiccups, but like overall they've been doing a great job with the server launch on this one. But yeah, so as far as where to come back and find new news, where to find more updates, then keep checking back because the channel lineup is we're discovering what it means for continued news on here. Obviously, Lily's News still goes up on YouTube every Friday. And I know that there are plans for perhaps more ways to bring the news out to you. So you will still get your daily fix, or weekly fix at least, of nerddom, news, and general irreverence. So worry ye not. But for now, I think that's going to do it for the show. So, thank you everybody for watching. Thank you for studio audience that is here today. Thank you for everybody that's watched over the last 3.5 years. And Dave, thank you for as much as it was a joke or whatever, like I meant what I said. This has been an awesome time. Doing Nerd Glass has been an awesome thing to do every Tuesday, and I'm excited to see where we both go from here. Thank you. At home, thank you so much for watching. Make sure that you are subscribed here at Insane Games TV for so many awesome creators and shows. Dave, what's going on tomorrow on...
So tomorrow, our good friend Mike is going to be doing Retro Wednesday. He is going to be doing more Castlevania. He didn't get as far into it as he would have liked, and so he's going to be showing it the ropes as he does. And then another St. Jude's incentive that folks unlocked that I put a time on for myself for writing was another stand-up show. If you haven't watched here on Insane Games TV, I do a lot of different programs, a lot of different types of content, things like that. And one of the incentives was a new stand-up show in June. And June's almost over, and hadn't done the stand-up show. And so tomorrow at 9 o'clock, I'm going to be doing another live performance of comedy as I see it. and as hopefully you will enjoy. And the studio is going to be open for folks to come and laugh in studio or on Insane Games TV here. I also know Wrestling with the Business has some more content coming out, not necessarily on Twitch, but on our YouTube channel here on Insane Games TV, and so many other fantastic programs. I can't wait to see what Lily covers of good old Bobo's testimony on Friday. Keep an eye on Insane Games TV's YouTube for that, because it's going to be hilarious.
So make sure you're following us right here on Twitch, over on YouTube, and make sure you follow our Discord as well. Hang out and participate in the discussions. In the meantime, this has been the Nerd Glasses Podcast. I've been Boater.
I've been Dave Man.
That's been Steve. And thank you all so much, and we'll be seeing you.